Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to CD 2260. This is Early Childhood Development Summer 2024. Just wanted to remind everyone that this course is fully online, so we will be using Canvas as our primary way of learning and communicating with one another. Before I get started with discussing the syllabus, I did just want to welcome you all to this course, and I'm so excited that you're here. And I also wanted to introduce myself a little bit. So my name is Emma Herzog, and I am in my final term of teaching at CSUSB, and I have been teaching here for a few years now in the Child Development Department, and I'm moving to a different university. In the fall, I'll be teaching at Victor Valley College, and I have also many years of experience working directly with infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. So some of you might be familiar with our on-campus centers, the Children's Center, as well as the Infant Toddler Lab School. So I've taught at the Infant and Toddler Lab School as an as a teacher and also a master teacher. So some of the terms may have been switched around since I was there, but I worked in the oldest classroom. And then during my undergraduate many years ago, I also taught in various centers, and I've worked directly with children as a nanny during COVID time. So there's many things that I've done working directly with children. I also like to do presentations at conferences such as KUIC or local conferences at universities. So those are some additional things that I also like to get involved in, teaching various topics such as trauma-informed care, mental health awareness, and I also am highly interested in infant and toddler development. So that's partly what we're going to be covering in this course. We're going to primarily stick to preschoolers using the California Learning Foundations, which I'll get into in a little bit. But that's just a little bit about me. And there's a little welcome message here on the syllabus, just kind of to get us all started and let you know that I'm here for you. I know that online can be extremely intimidating, especially if it's your first time. So I did also just want to preface before you get started, just to kind of prepare yourself, because although this course is online and there's kind of a nice atmosphere to be able to do the work when you want and not have to come in person, the expectations for this course are still going to be the same as they would during an in-person class. So the requirements for the course are the same. We're just doing it in a shorter period of time. And so just keep that in mind. I did put out a few announcements already, a welcome announcement as well as a week one announcement. So if you haven't checked those out already, I would highly recommend that you take a peek at those before you get started. And some of you have probably already looked at the syllabus, so this looks familiar to you, which is wonderful. But just in keeping up with your own personal lives, I know that many of you, in addition to this course, might be taking other courses. You have family obligations and work obligations, as well as wanting to make sure that you have personal time for yourself over the summer. Those are all important things in addition to taking an online class. So just making sure that you are spacing out your time. So I would recommend this week that you get in a routine of figuring out what your work-life balance is going to be for this course. As you'll see in a few moments, most of the expectations are going to be similar from week to week. So you'll have various things that you'll have to complete on Canvas, as well as readings for the course, but they're going to be pretty much similar throughout each week. And then when we get into our finals week, oh, excuse me.
Professor,
Yes,
you're sounding a little bit like a robot.
like a robot. My audio is cutting out.
Yeah.
How
Yes.
about now?
Yes, it's still the same.
So it's
You were
not,
good. You were good, and then you started sounding like a robot. I could understand you, but it's more robot.
so the audio's not coming through clearly.
Yes.
How about now? Do a little testing. 1, 2, 3 testing.
It's the same.
Okay. Unfortunately, on my end, it shows that all audio tunings are working well. Are you still
Okay.
able
I
to?
can understand you, but I know you're recording yourself, so I don't know. Okay.
Are you able to understand me okay?
I am. Yes, I am.
Okay, and if you're not, and if you'd prefer to watch later on, I can make sure that the audio is good to go. I've recorded a few times before this, and the audio was okay once I stopped the recording. So I'm not sure if there's a disconnect in the connection that's going on.
Okay, I'll stay on. Like I said, I can understand you, but I know you're recording yourself.
Oh, no, it's not a problem at all. I don't mind remaking the recording if there's an issue or if you feel that you're not able to hear properly and you want to pop off and then watch later, not a problem at all.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
just let me know if you end up needing to head out because you're not able to hear properly, not a problem, but I want to make sure that there's not an issue on my end because on mine it shows everything's okay, Wi-Fi is up to date, but you never know nowadays with technology.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're able to hear me enough okay, or
Can you hear you enough? Okay, yes.
okay. I just want to make sure you can, because if you're not able to, that would defeat the purpose of you being
Yeah,
live, and
no.
I wouldn't want you to waste double time listening and
Yeah.
watching. So just want to make sure that you're doing okay.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty. So I was just leaving off here with the welcome message. So just wanted to let everyone know that I'm here to support you. So please feel free to reach out at any time if you need anything from me. I know that it can be intimidating to reach out to your instructor, especially if we're not meeting in person and having regular time to excuse me, get to know one another. I was coughing earlier and then um, it stopped, but I might cough a little bit throughout. I'm getting over a little bit of being sick, so my apologies with that. But might as well reach out to me sooner rather than later, so that way I can best figure out how to support you. And then this is my contact information. So in addition to the syllabus being posted on the homepage, all of this information, the welcome message, my contact information, and a little bit about the required technology and text, that is on the homepage. So I'd recommend if you need a quick way to get in contact with me, just pop in on the homepage. That way you don't have to download the syllabus again. You're always welcome to message me via via Canvas or email. I respond to either or, whatever your preference is. I just ask that you give me at least 24 to 48 hours, especially if you're messaging me on the weekend. My working hours are Monday through Friday, and I typically am available 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Fridays. I'm available mostly in the morning, so it just depends on the day, but I pretty much respond within the day, but depending on how my schedule is going and other things I have going on with work, I may get back to you within that 2 day period. So if it is something that is urgent related to content of the course, I'd recommend messaging me before the weekend starts, just so that I can help you navigate whatever's going on. And I'd also recommend that you read through the syllabus thoroughly and check everything out on Canvas before you message me, just in case the question could already be answered. But I'm always happy to double check with you if you're uncertain. And then if you would like to meet for office hours, I don't have official office hours because we are in summer, but if you do need to make an appointment with me, I'm happy to do that. I just ask that you send me days and times that you're available, and then I will let you know what my schedule is and we can put you on for a Zoom meeting, whatever you need. So I'm happy to do that for folks. And then the required textbook is here, so I thought I would show you what that looks like. I know some folks might be getting an online version, or you might have other means of getting the textbook, but this is what it should look like. And I can post a picture of this if that's helpful, but it's the whole child, the 10th edition. And I got a couple messages regarding different editions and what I recommend. So I always recommend getting the exact text that I have listed here, because it's not guaranteed that other editions are going to have the same chapters. Now, if you do a little bit of research and you notice that a different edition for a different price happens to follow along the same timeline, that's completely up to you. But I always recommend getting the textbook that I have listed here. That way you're following along exactly with what our readings are. And I'm happy if anybody needs help getting the textbook. If you haven't gotten already, I can help you to navigate getting access to that if you don't know where to find it. But you can always just copy and paste this into your search bar on the bookstore website, as well as on Amazon or other online sources. And then, oh, really quickly, I forgot to mention that it's always helpful if you indicate our course number and what you're needing support in the subject line of emails, as well as Canvas notifications. I do teach other courses, so it's helpful for me to know which course you are in. And then that way, if we're regularly emailing, we can keep a thread going. And then in terms of technology, this is all the information that you need to know regarding Canvas. And there is a little bit of steps that you might take if you are needing support in figuring out a problem regarding Canvas. I am not the best person to ask if you are struggling with technology, so I'd recommend first taking these steps. And then if you do need additional support, I'd recommend contacting IT. Our IT department is available. You can use the link here and find access to support from them. So I don't know too much about the Canvas management system from that perspective. So if you are having extreme technical difficulties, we want to make sure that we get those solved ASAP, because Canvas is going to be the main way that you are turning in assignments, communicating with me, getting access to materials. So we need to make sure that you have your Canvas page up and running. And if you do need support with that, I'll try my best to help navigate that with you, but I'd recommend checking out these steps first. So just getting into our course description, we're going to be covering development of children 2 to 8 years old. So mainly, like I said, we're going to be focusing on middle ground with our preschoolers for the first half, but we are going to be touching on a little bit of our older children for this, and we're going to be reviewing predominant theories, as you'll see in our textbook, such as Piaget and Vygotsky, as well as Gardner. So many different theories related to early childhood development that we're going to be touching on and learning about with atypical and typical development of children. Lots of different contextual influences that we'll be looking at, such as culture and families and peers, and different methods of studying child development. So you'll see that carried through in our assignments, as well as we're looking at the California Learning Foundations. And then these are just some overall course objectives that by the end of this course should be met through the learning content that we are going to be covering. So we're going to touch on historical perspectives and theories, as I mentioned, and this is just an introductory class. So you may be taking other courses throughout your time, or in the past have taken courses where you've gone into theory in a lot more detail, but this is just kind of an introductory to get you aware of some of the predominant theories and how they're used, and how we look at child development from various developmental domains using theory as a foundation. And with that being said, we're going to be using the California Learning Foundations. So if you're not familiar with it by now, by the end of this course, you will be familiar with how to use the California Learning Foundations. And it's going to be something that you will need in future classes, especially if you're going to be taking curriculum in the future. The California Learning Foundations is something that you will primarily use in developing curriculum with infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. And so we're going to be outlining various domains, such as cognitive, social, emotional, language, and physical development, as you'll see from our timeline on the schedule. Each of those developmental domains will be touched on using the California Learning Foundations, and you'll also be doing homework assignments that use this as well. So it's kind of a two-part. You're going to be looking at the California Learning Foundations on your own and using that material in your homework assignments, and then I'm also going to be touching on it during the lectures. And then we're also going to discuss, as I mentioned, various factors such as families and schools and peers. And these are things that are going to carry out in other courses as well. Importance of recognizing how these different factors might influence development of young children. So such as, what is the connection between home and school? How does it look like when children have strong social emotional connections with their peers? How does this help them in terms of developing friendships, things like that. So all of these different factors that might influence development. And then we're going to be identifying different methods used to assess and understand strengths and weaknesses in children. And so you might also be taking other courses where you use assessment more heavily. So again, this is just an introductory, one lecture that will be dedicated to that towards the end. And hopefully that can kind of give you an idea. If you're taking or have taken 3304, assessment is also discussed in that course, and then other courses as well. So you may be using assessment in various ways with different types of tools. And then getting into some of the course requirements, as I mentioned, Mainly, we're going to be seeing the same things repeated over and over again, but this is a nice layout of each of the assignments individually and what they look like. And then some of the assignments have more detailed guidelines on Canvas. So I'd make sure that you go check out the assignments guideline tab. And then also within each assignment, there is a short description of what is expected of you. So there's various ways that you can see what the expectations are and the instructions for each assignment. And then this is just a little bit of information regarding turning in assignments and when the time frame is. So everything is set out. And when you look at the bottom of the syllabus, you'll see that all of the specific due dates are indicated in red. So every Sunday at 11:59 p.m., that's when your assignments are going to be due, unless stated otherwise. And the only day that it's going to be different is during that finals week period. So unfortunately, the way that summer session is set up this year, it's not a full 5 weeks. It's about 4.5. So finals week is going to be cut off in the middle of the week. And so unfortunately, you won't have until that Sunday to turn work in, but we're not going to be having a final. It's just going to be a paper at the end of the semester. So you're more than welcome to get started on that now if that's something you'd like to accomplish. Then come finals week, all you have to do is turn it in. Same with extra credit. That's going to be the only thing in addition to the assignment. That's something that you could complete during that time, but extra credit's always optional. I still recommend doing it even if you feel confident with your grade, because you never know, something might happen, and it's pretty easy for the extra credit. But this is just some notes to keep in mind for when things are due, how my late work policy is. Basically, turning in late work is a 50%, so it's recommended that you turn in everything on time. Of course, if something's going on and you happen to need to turn in an assignment late, please just reach out to me. I understand things happen and that sometimes, you may have an assignment that you have to turn in late. I do understand. So reaching out to me sooner rather than later helps me to help you and navigate what's going on with you. So the first assignment, I noticed some of you have already posted, so I'm looking forward to getting to know you. So just an assignment to help us to kind of open up a little bit. It's harder to get to know each other online if we don't interact right away. And this is a great way for you to get started with what you'll be doing for discussion posts. So the get to know me is just you sharing a little bit about yourself. Not too much in detail. If you'd like to, more the merrier, but you're updating your Canvas profile. So a headshot picture of you, pop it into your Canvas profile. That helps me to also put a face to the name. So when I'm grading your work, I'm able to get to know you a little bit better. I'll recognize who you are, things like that. And then a little bit about yourself. So feel free to share whatever you would like. I put a couple different options of things that you might want to discuss, but it's completely open-ended. So feel free to share anything that you would like about yourself. And then also, in addition to posting your own discussion, please make sure that you comment on at least 2 classmates. You're more than welcome to comment on more. I will never deny you of commenting extra, but you're only required to post 2 additional comments for your peers. And that assignment will be due this Sunday. So just keep that in mind, that this week's starting date is today, Tuesday, the 9th, but we will be turning assignments in on Sunday. So Sunday the 14th at 11:59 p.m., your discussion post, your weekly homework, and your get to know me and quiz, which I'll describe all of those, will be due. And then that will repeat throughout the week. So again, it is very fast paced. So I highly recommend taking time some point throughout the week to kind of get yourself organized, to see when you'll be listening and watching lectures, when you're going to be completing assignments, things like that. How's the audio? Are we still doing okay? Just wanted to do a little bit of a check-in. Okay, so weekly homework assignments. Now you'll see here that there's not a lot of detail on this. That's because on Canvas, there are specific instructions for each weekly homework. So feel free to go and take a peek at that ahead of time so that you kind of can prepare yourself for what's to come. But you're going to be completing different tasks related to lecture slides and readings, and you're going to be utilizing that information in those tasks. So you'll see that I posted a sample of what a walkthrough could look like for the weekly homework one, and the style is going to be the same for that. Basically, I just walked through and pointed out everything that you're going to be doing for that weekly homework. And so you'll see that in each weekly homework, there's slightly different tasks, but you're primarily going to be utilizing information in the first few homeworks with the California Learning Foundation. So that's where those are going to come into play. Those are also going to be really important for you in taking the quizzes. So you'll see here that I've listed memorization of all of those key milestones. So having knowledge of that is going to be extremely helpful in completing the work for this course. And the wonderful thing about knowing these milestones and having strong emphasis on the California Learning Foundations is that it's going to be beneficial for you in future courses. Having knowledge of where children are at developmentally in various domains allows you to then better absorb material that you'll learn later on. And so make sure that you check out the assignment guidelines for the homeworks and what your expectations are. These ones you're just going to be turning in on Canvas in your own personal area. There is no interaction with peers for this one. It's just uploading your assignment. So you can type it out on a Word document and then upload that. So I would recommend if you have questions with those, let me know sooner rather than later. I know that sometimes reading through the homeworks can be a bit intimidating because we're not in person. You might not understand something, especially if you're not familiar with the California Learning Foundations. So I'm happy if anyone would like a little bit of extra support, feel free to message me, or if we need to set up a Zoom meeting, that's perfectly fine. And then the discussion board. So this is going to be revolving again around what we're learning in our lectures and the milestones. So there's different prompts that we're going to be discussing, and this is a way for you to interact with your peers and share your ideas. So I want you to not only use references from the textbook, but you're going to be elaborating on what you're learning. So this is where the textbook is going to come into play. You do need to reference the text specifically or lecture content in order to receive full points for this assignment. So it's not just, I thought that this was a great chapter, I really enjoyed reading this. I need a bit more in terms of where did you find this information? What specifically stood out to you in cognitive development in this area? And going to respond to your peers is also not, excuse me, I went backwards on what I was saying. In addition to posting your own discussion, you also need to post on two peers at least in order to receive full credit. So there's three primary things that you want to keep in mind for the discussion boards. You need to reference your text materials as well as lectures if that's something you want to add in there. You need to make sure that you are creating responses that are going to expand on what we're talking about. You're not just copying and pasting from the textbook. And you're also going to make sure that you post in addition to your own responses to two peers. So those are going to be things that you'll do weekly. And it doesn't need to be long paragraphs. I'm not looking for a certain amount of length in your work. I'm looking for, did you answer the questions accordingly? Same with the weekly homework. I'm not looking for a certain amount to be written. It's in the sense that you did the assignment, you were thorough in your work. I can tell that you understood the content. That's really what I'm looking for here. Questions are answered thoroughly. I can see that you were thinking about this and expanding on what we were talking about in more detail. And then last but not least, for the weekly assignments, you will have a quiz every week. Now, the wonderful thing about this is you get two chances to do it, and you also have an hour each time you go to take the quiz. So there'll be 20 multiple choice questions based on readings and class lectures. So really what you want to strive for in taking the quizzes is the milestones. So those 36, 48, 60-month milestones, which we'll heavily be discussing in lecture. Those are where the questions are going to emanate from. So for example, I'll ask, what month would a child be doing A, B, or C in terms of cognitive development or language? So whatever topic we are discussing for that week, I'll ask you different questions in what age group would this child be producing this skill, for example. And so when you're doing your homeworks and your discussion boards and your readings, you're going to be learning about all of these milestones. So you're going to have practice with this. Now, I can't say, oh, you can't use your notes or your lectures. That's just not something that is always attainable online. So if you feel that you need to flip back through your notes, I would do that. And if you are not happy with your score the first time around, take it again. You have two chances to do it. That's why I give not only an hour for you to take it, but also a second chance. And then your overall score that is the highest will be used for the grade book. And I would also recommend that you wait until the end of the week after you have done all the readings and you've done your other assignments to take the quiz, because then you have all of the information that you need in order to be fully prepared for the quiz. And that way you are not having to go back and search for things that maybe you missed. So I would thoroughly walk through all of your assignments and readings and lectures before you go and take the quiz. That way, if you want to take notes, you have those readily prepared for you. And then, of course, wanted to also mention, because I know that some folks are registered with SSD. So if you do have specific accommodations for testing or any other forms of assignments or workload, I am aware of those and I will be implementing them for you. If you want to just double check with me, that's perfectly fine. But I do receive all SSD accommodations via email, and so those will be applied for folks. Also, keep in mind with the quizzes that once you start the quiz, you cannot go back. So make sure that you are in a place and time that you can dedicate time to finish the quiz in its entirety, because once you start, that hour time mark is going to finish through. And if you click on the quiz and then try to exit, it's going to show that you've already taken it. So do not open the quiz until you're actually ready to start taking it. That's all of the assignments that you're going to be doing week to week, and I'll show you a little bit about that schedule and those due dates. And then there's one last assignment that's going to be a paper, and the guidelines for that with the walkthrough video are already online for you. So you're more than welcome to get started if you feel that that's going to be the most beneficial for you. Keep in mind, though, that there is no final for this class. It's just those weekly assignments that you'll have. So if you do want to dedicate the few days during the, I put in quotes, finals week, because it's not a full week, but if you want to dedicate time to writing that paper within that finals period, you're more than welcome to wait. It's not due until the very last day of our term, but there is more information with a walkthrough video on Canvas, so I'm not going to touch on this in too much detail, but the main purpose of this assignment is for you to take all of the knowledge that we've been learning about the developmental domains and put it into practice. You're going to look up and find a video that you feel demonstrates either positive or on the flip side, negative introductions of developmental domains and discussion in one of the areas that sticks out to you. And then you're going to review this. So it's a video review paper. You're not just telling me what the video is about, you're giving your review, your opinion on this, and you're utilizing all of the information that we have learned in this course to give a review of the overall content that you find in this video. And so you'll see that I also showed two examples in the guidelines of what you might want to choose from. But this is a little bit more open-ended as well. You get to choose the video, you get to choose the developmental domain. And really what I'm looking for here, again, did you answer the questions? Did you answer the questions? Were you thorough in your work? Are you citing and referencing things properly? Are you reviewing and double checking all of your grammatical and vocabulary areas when you're writing? So is your writing flushed out? Those are things I'm looking for in your paper. Of course, if you want to send me ahead of time the video that you're thinking about to get approval before you get started, please feel free to do that. That way you feel confident in moving forward with this assignment. I'm happy to check out any videos that you are looking at. So those are all the assignments that are required for this course. Now there is an optional extra credit area that you could work on if you'd like. So there are different opportunities for extra credit. Now, in reading this, you'll see that it says you can earn up to 10 points and you can do each of these one time. So all of these assignments total to 10 points and you are only able to do them each one time. But if you do all of them, you can earn up to a full 10 points. So the three things that you could do are a feedback survey. So I like to get feedback from everyone. That's something that helps me to be a better instructor, to hear your thoughts. If there's things that you enjoyed about the course, if there's things that you think that I could work on, those are things as an instructor that I like to know, especially with an online course. It's helpful for me to better support future students and see what you would like to have in the future in the department and in your instructors, not only online, but just in general. And so just a few short questions in the survey, just asking you for your feedback. And then the article summary is you choosing any resource that's related to this course that you feel is useful. And then you're just writing a summary, so highlighting this. So there's nothing in particular that I'm looking for question wise. It's really just a review of an article that stands out to you. So maybe cognitive development is something that's really interesting to you. And so you choose an article maybe related to um, different things that we can do to support cognitive development between peers at school and the materials that they use. So that could be something that sticks out to you. Really open-ended with that. I do not care what kind of article you choose as long as it's related to this course and it's credible. So again, feel free to send me the article if you're uncertain, and then make sure that you include it. There's also more guidelines on Canvas for each of these. When you click on those assignments, they're in the finals week module. And then a children's book. I know that sounds really intimidating, but as you'll see with the guidelines when you go to click on it, a short children's book, really just a way for you, again, to explore a topic that's interesting to you. So rolling with what I was discussing with peers, maybe peer interactions and friendships is something that stands out to you. So you want to create a short children's book that talks about friendship and a conversation that might happen between two kiddos. So you can draw these pictures, you can find images online, really open-ended with this, meant to be fun. So of course, if you have questions about those, happy to answer. And then most of the rest of what's on the syllabus before we get to the schedule is just standard course policies that you'll probably see in other courses that you've taken. Or if you've taken a course with me, some of this might look familiar, just in regards to interacting with students and fellow people on Canvas, as well as when sending messages to me. We just want to make sure that we're being professional. Not only does this course allow you to learn about children's development, but it gives you practice in being a professional, in working online with others, interacting in friendly ways, as well as providing feedback and supportive interactions with others. Also gives you a chance to practice writing professional emails. And if you pop on Zoom, getting in touch with your instructor and having meetings. These are just some different academic regulations related to cheating and plagiarism. So really all I ask is that you do your own work. That is what is expected. And of course, if you need help, ask me, reach out. If you want to get in contact with your peers to make friends during the way, so that you can have someone to check in with, please feel free to do that. I can post a discussion board where you can interact with peers if you would like. In addition to that, of course, please reach out to me ahead of time. I don't know what's going on unless you reach out, especially since we're not in person. It's harder for me to gauge who is not attending regularly. Now, if you're not turning in assignments and I see no work from you, I will definitely reach out to check in, but I don't know what's going on for the most part unless you say something. So please reach out. I'm happy to help in any way that I can. Of course, if you need more support with SSD, the link and phone number is here for their services. And of course, just wanted to put in here a note related to diversity and inclusion. This space for our course is a safe space. Everyone is welcome here. I'm so excited to hear all of the different viewpoints that you have and learn about you from your own perspectives. So such as for our first Get to Know Me assignment, I'm looking forward to reading and learning about you, as well as hearing your perspectives on the discussion boards, seeing how you interact with your peers. So this is a safe space. Please feel free to share your ideas and collaborate with one another. And of course, if at any time you feel uncomfortable with this course, or if something's going on behind the scenes that I don't know about, please reach out to me and I will help you to navigate what's going on. So this is just more about our commitment to diversity and inclusion and making sure that everyone feels safe in this space, not only in this course, but on campus. So if there's things that I can help you with related to just in general, your experience on campus, please let me know and I'll do my best to help you. And then this is just more about different services that we offer on campus. So academic support, the writing center. So if you need help writing your paper, you can try and get in contact with them and see if you can set up a Zoom meeting. You can always send me work ahead of time if you'd like. Different access for you. So these are things that you may or may not need, but they're here if you would like to check them out. The counseling service, I don't know exactly how counseling is working for summer sessions, so there may be some differences in what's listed here for the regular sessions, fall and spring versus summer, but I would recommend that you check out the website. And there's also a new national resource for suicide and mental health awareness, so that line is provided here. Please feel free to reach out to me if you need help getting in contact with mental health or counseling services. I can help you to navigate that as well. And basic needs on campus. Again, this might be slightly different in terms of how you get in contact and what's offered during the summer session. I'm not exactly familiar with how summer session works, but these are the resources for you if you do need them. And I know some folks are coming from Palm Desert campus since this is an online asynchronous. So there's a list for both of those if you are someone from the Palm Desert campus. And then just more information for students with disabilities and how you might get in contact with them, both San Bernardino and Palm Desert. More about technology support. So IT is going to be your best friend if you have technical difficulties. I am not very good at technical issues, so I would not be the first person that I recommend you reach out to. I'll try my best, but technology services is going to be where you want to go. And then this is the overall grading policy. So you're more than welcome to add up your score as you're going through. You can see, calculating if you get 100% on all the assignments, how your grade will look, vice versa. If you need help in navigating what that looks like, happy to help you with that. So these are just all the requirements for the course and the breakdown of the grade system. Pretty self-explanatory for that one. And it looks like my thing got messed up. Hopefully it's okay on the one I upload. If not, I will update it. And then this is our weekly course schedule. So just re-mentioning that in red is when all assignments are due. So Sundays at 11:59 p.m. And then this is the breakdown of the topics that we'll be discussing. So on Canvas, you'll see that I have put physical development, emotional development, and creative development in week 1. And when you click on that tab for the modules, you'll see that there is not only a PowerPoint that you can download, but also a YouTube video that you can watch. Either or is perfectly fine. They're the exact same content, but keep in mind if you are only going to be using the PowerPoints, you will need to click on the audio buttons. So I'm going to show you that really quickly and just look at Canvas together to make sure that everybody understands what I'm talking about. You'll also see that there are various readings. So the textbook is what you're using for your readings. Unless stated otherwise, there may be additional readings in a few weeks just to help to support you with assignments. And then the breakdown of the assignment. So again, this week you have 4 things that you need to complete. And it's pretty self-explanatory week to week of what's expected, and the layout looks similar on the Canvas page. So I'd recommend that you write all these due dates down and utilize whatever means of organization works for you. And then, like I mentioned, finals week is going to have the video review paper and extra credit. And I did just want to mention really quickly before I finish the syllabus video that this is potentially subject to change. Sometimes things happen throughout the term or the semester, and I make adjustments as needed for the group that we have. So just keep that in mind. But as always, I will send you announcements and messages if anything changes. It's not likely that it will, but anytime that I am adjusting the syllabus or assignments or anything related to the course, you will know about it. And I'll be sending weekly announcements out every Sunday so that you are prepared with the information that you have for the course. I'm basically just restating what is expected of you, but that way you have a fresh announcement every week and you feel confident in what is coming for each week. Of course, reach out to me if you're not understanding something. And then just really quickly, I wanted to pop and show the Canvas page. So when you go to the Canvas page here, you'll see the home page, which has all of the information that's at the beginning of the syllabus. And then you'll see that there is the announcements tab. So as I mentioned, there are 2 announcements here. So make sure that you check both of those out. Your syllabus is the next thing here. So that is what we just walked through. And then it also shows you all of the assignments that are due and the due dates of every single one of them broken up week to week. And then when you go to the modules tab, some of the information on the start here is just basic information that you'll see for multiple courses related to technology and how to navigate Canvas. So if you're not familiar with Canvas, I'd recommend checking some of those links out. And then I've also included some helpful resources specifically related to child development and our department. So this is not stuff that you need and are expected to read and learn and look at for this course, but it's just helpful information that might be beneficial to you. So if you want to get more connected with our child development department, or you're interested in different types of jobs and research, these are some things that we have going on that could be as of use to you as you're getting started with your fall semester, or you just want to stay connected. So I wanted to include those. Your assignment guidelines are listed here. So your homework assignments. So for example, when you click here, you'll see homework 1, 2, 3, and 4, all the guidelines. Now I didn't put a walkthrough video for homeworks 2, 3, and 4 because all I'm doing is just restating everything that's on there. But this is just an example of when I'm walking through it, what you should be paying attention to when you're reading, making sure that you're looking at all points thoroughly, answering the questions. That's what I'm looking for homework assignments. And then for week 1, you'll see here, each week is going to have the same format: lectures, readings, and assignments. So you'll have, I'm going to put the introduction one here. So once we're finished with the video, I'll be posting the introduction here. So that's why you don't see it quite yet. And then you'll see for physical development, for example, there's the video and a PowerPoint. And I'm just going to click on the PowerPoint to show you what I mean with the icons that you'll have to click on. So feel free to utilize both of these. Sometimes it's nice to listen and watch the video and have the PowerPoint pulled up. So you're not able to see it when you're just looking on the Canvas page, so you'll need to download the PowerPoint in order to see what each of the icons looks like. And so when I click here, just give my computer just a moment. Should be downloading in just a second. So there's little icons that have voice audio on each of the slides. And as you're going through, you're not only having access to the content that's on the slide written out, but you have access to me speaking in audio form. And so the YouTube video is just walking through the PowerPoints and the audio is playing. So you have access to both of those. So just for example here, this is what the format of all the PowerPoints will look like. So you'll see here that there's an audio icon, and you'll just want to click the play button as you're going through and clicking through the content. And then there are small quizzes embedded in the lectures. These are just to kind of to help you to understand the content better. It's just a way for you to interact with each of the slides that we have. So it gives you an opportunity to play around with them. If you put it in presentation mode, you can click on them, or you can just pick which one you think. And then when you click through the slides, it will show you which answer is correct. So just a way for you to interact and to help you to make sure that you understand the content. So that's kind of the style of how PowerPoints are going to look, or lecture material. So just really quickly going back to the Canvas page. So those are 2 options for you in reviewing the content for lectures. And then last but not least, just wanted to show you on the first week, I've included the YouTube channel for the videos. So if you just want to keep the YouTube channel pinned, all of the videos that you need are there for you. I've also put which readings that you have each week. Now keep in mind that depending on the topic each week, you might want to read in the order that they go with each topic, but all of those chapters are going to be going with week 1. And then here's your assignments listed and when you want to complete those by. So as you'll notice here, when you click on the discussion post, it shows you everything that I'm asking for on here, and that's all that you need to do. Discussion posts have all the information stated just like that, and you don't need any additional guidelines for it. All the information is right there. But if you did want to look at assignment guidelines, again, they are here at the top. And so we have week 1, which is this week 2, 3, 4, and our final week 5, with your extra credit and video review paper. So that is all the information that I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed today's video and it was helpful for you. And I look forward to talking to you in the lecture videos. Please feel free to reach out at any time if you need support. And I'm looking forward to a wonderful summer term. Have a great day or night, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop the share now in case any of our folks who are live have questions.